Okay. All right.
Okay, we'll call the meeting of the Wayne County Industrial Development Agency to order. We'll get a motion to approve the November 16 minutes. So moved. Thanks, Phil.
Second.
Thanks, Kay. All in favor?
Hi.
Oh. Okay,
All right. So our next agenda item is with Premier 60 LLC. This is the authorizing project resolution. And we have the president and vice president, John here today to talk about the project. Do you want to just stand up and, yeah, I guess, yeah, so we can see you in the recording. And just give a little background of your project, what you're doing and your business. There we go.
Absolutely, I will. My name is John Regis. I'm president. This is Jack Hotterman, my vice president. We're in Fairport currently. Our business has been around since 1979. About a year and a half ago, I purchased it from my stepfather who had owned it for a time. I'll pass around a couple catalogs of some of the stuff that we do, but it's like you guys have on your table here: coffee mugs, thermoses, pint glasses, things like that. We do have two different DBAs under Mastercraft Decorators. Mastercraft Decorators is the user that'll use the space. Premier 60 is just the LLC that'll have that. So we do sell some of our stuff on Amazon. Feel free to pass that around to everybody else. But currently at 42 employees. Last week we just got named to top workplaces in Rochester for 2023. First time we've won that award. And top 100 businesses. We just received that in November. So excited about that. Got a lot of growth, a lot of fun things brewing, this being one of the bigger ones in the forefront for us. Been talking to Scott Allen at the town of Madison for quite some time about this. He's really been pushing me look at this space. We've been looking for quite a while to expand because we have 3 other warehouses off site that we store finished goods and also our raw inventory there as well. So what we primarily do, like I said, is print wine glasses, pint glasses, any kind of glass you can print on. Yeti mugs, things like that, coffee mugs, thermoses, water bottles. And that's about all it is for right now. The plaza is a great spot for us because it's going to essentially double our production facility. Our offices don't need to be too much bigger. The plan is to take the movie theater, the existing movie theater, or it's empty now, make that our offices. And the entire Ames building would then be used just strictly for operations and warehousing. It's actually a pretty seamless move. There's a lot to do there, obviously, because of this shape, the current shape of that building. But it's nice that there isn't a second story. The only real thing we have to add is docks. The docks there are not ideal, so we're going to require a couple extra docks. So it's really a good shell to start from, and we can do what we need with it. But being that it's a clear span building and there's not much in the way, it works perfect for the operations that we have. With the growth projections that we have, we're looking at adding close to 20. We're looking at 20 jobs in the next 3 years. We've got some pretty good plans in the works. Partnering with a marketing firm, a lot of good things there. But coming out of the back end of COVID, a little tough. Like everybody knows, coming out of COVID was tough. Glass supply was really tough. But we ramped up quite a bit of inventory, which is why we have warehousing. Kind of transform how business is done. So moving after COVID, we need to warehouse more inventory. So that's part of the reason that we need a bigger facility.
Right. So they are currently in Fairport.
Yep.
But they also have several different locations, partly because of the warehousing.
Correct.
And so this would have everything in one location. So
Yes.
they're moving here to, including your Fairport.
Including Fairport. So
Yeah.
we're gonna close up Fairport. The Jindal Films building in Macedon, the back pole barn, we rent that currently. Trying to get out of that space. Leonard's Express over in Farmington, we rent from them. And there's another Monroe County, Jasco is right down the street from us that we rent from as well. So we have 3 other offsite locations. And with offsite locations comes the box trucks, moving, labor to move, all the transfer. It goes on and on and on.
Maintenance.
If we can be under, plus liability over the road, trucks over the road every day that we don't need. So we'd love to have that all under one roof. And not all the confusion of having multiple locations.
Yeah.
Is there any questions that I can answer for you guys?
You had 43 employees today,
Correct.
so you're adding 20 to that?
Did you guys talk to them about that moving? Do we still have that?
No,
That assistant?
no,
Yeah.
Pretty quick to answer that.
It's a great project.
Yeah.
That plaza's been empty for 10+ years, or at least that section of the plaza, the town of.
20 years, actually.
20,
Yes,
great,
in
yes,
2002 is when
20.
it closed.
Wow. Since
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
did not know
found-
that date. You found it?
I found the article, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Aura found the article, so.
Yeah, 20 years. Obviously, and to your point about Scott, very supported by the town. I think a great
But
adaptive reuse, if you will, of that former department store plaza.
We did have a public hearing on December 8th at the town of Macedon. And all of the comments from the public were very positive, and they're looking forward to seeing this space be reused.
I'm sure Kim's on board.
Yep, she was there. She was there.
wanted to make sure you saw that.
Yes, it went out in the paper and went public a little sooner than I wanted it to. We have not secured the building yet. We've had, my phone was blown up. Everybody, you look at the Facebook groups, every place around, it's buzzing around now that it's kind of out there. And I still have yet to have one person say anything negative about it. I think we can all agree. I think you guys all agree that repurposing space that's been that empty.
Yeah.
And that front facing on Route 31 is just a plan out, but.
We appreciate you moving to Wayne County.
Yeah.
I'm from Macedon, John from Macedon, we're both Palmac grads from '99.
Awesome.
And would love to get in that space. There used to be an archery shop in West Wayne Plaza. I used to go to 4 nights a week. I mean, I know that plaza inside
Yeah,
out. so
that's a great
it just
press
makes
release.
sense to
Yeah.
Bring it back and try
Coming home.
to bring it there. So we've looked around at Fairport, we've looked around. The only other real places are like Gates, you get up into the city, Emerson, Lyle, Mount Reed up in that area. Or you go Victor Mendon, like way down in there, and we've got a very diverse population in our employees. We have a very big following from Nepal. A lot of them live on Lake Avenue, they live up in the city, deep into the city. To add that 15 minutes is, I don't know if it's gonna be 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. They've agreed that that's not too bad. But as
Okay,
we were talking about going out to Victor and Mendon, then it sounded like they were gonna start dropping off.
yeah,
And I don't want to lose our employees. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'd like to supplement what we have because we have a great core with some, hopefully some Wayne County employees as well. We have a lot of Wayne County employees as well, but just trying to support everybody there, find a good spot. So
Yeah.
that's why this is.
are you on a bus route today for the folks that are coming from the city?
We're not.
So you're not gonna lose out.
The bus, I know the bus comes through West Wayne Plaza. It's not a necessity for us currently. It does drop off in the village of Fairport. It's about a 5-minute walk up 31F, which isn't ideal, but we don't have anybody currently today doing it.
Okay.
We do have a lot of carpooling within, we have multiple family members. We have a bunch of different options, but most people do not.
So sometimes the hardest part for us is getting to understand all the business names. This, what you're passing around, it's another
I'll give
name.
you a
Right.
quick synopsis. Mastercraft Decorators is the parent company. We have 2 DBAs. One is Deja Brew that you have, and one is Guild Lines that she has there.
Okay,
Guild Lines is primarily sold to distributors, a third party. So if the IDA wanted to get coffee mugs or thermoses, they would talk to somebody, a distributor they would get you your pens, they would get you your fidget spinners, your hats, your polo shirts, your coffee mugs, and then in turn they would buy the coffee mugs from us. They're a middleman, put a markup on it. Deja Brew we would sell directly to wineries, breweries, festivals, weddings. We sell direct to the end user.
County tourism.
What's that?
County tourism.
right. I mean, we need IDA wine glasses.
Well, there you go. So we sell direct.
With a line.
We need to have both companies. We've had both companies for
Not
years and years and years. And to be honest, they kind of compete with each other. So
Yeah.
that's why there's 2 different DBAs there. So that's confused too much, but
Any other questions? So, and you have a LLC for the real estate, right?
Premier 60 will be the LLC
So just to make
that
that one
will
more.
own the entire shopping plaza. So we're gonna buy the entire area.
Yeah.
We don't plan on uprooting anybody that's there.
Entire plaza?
The entire plaza is what will be purchased there.
So will the court then rent from you?
The court is
Nope.
on its standalone.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was,
is it?
that was
Different
donated by the seller, years, 2 or 3 years ago, something like that.
Mhm.
So that's its own entity. The garage in front is its own entity. That's not part of this. The old McDonald's, that's not part of it at all. It's really the strip along there. So it's all full right now. There's only one empty tenant in there, and that's actually being fulfilled probably within the next 30 to 60 days by the seller. We have no plans to uproot anybody, increase rents, any of that stuff. The primary use for this is for us to be able to utilize Ames. From a number standpoint, if we were to buy another piece of property, build a building on that property, run all your major services to that property, you're probably in $8 to $10 million range is what we figured. For us, coming in at 4.26 and having $200,000 in rental income, it's a win-win. It just makes a lot of sense for us. And we're supporting everybody in there. Like I said, we're not planning to kick anybody out, but in the years to come, obviously, maybe we can even get some more businesses in there that could have a little better impact on the county.
Very good.
So there isn't gonna be a lot of traffic increase into that plaza because you
Zero.
guys aren't generating except for your.
Just the tractor trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have tractor trailers coming in and out, but it's not, we don't have 100 a day or anything like that. It's
Yeah.
probably on the terms of 6 to 8 trucks. They'll come in one side and they're gonna go around the right end of Ames and they'll come right back out the other end. So it's not gonna clog up. There isn't gonna be a backlog of tractor trailers. There's never more than 2 at a time in that building currently, and I don't project that to be any more. And we'll have 2 docks to be able to fulfill that as well. So
Great.
traffic shouldn't increase. What's not in here, I've talked to Katie a little bit about it, is I would love to. The first thing we have to do is put a new roof on this building because there's trees growing through. There's 20-foot trees on top of it. It's caved in entirely. There's birds in there. You know, it's pretty bad. But with a brand new roof, we don't plan to put rooftop heat units or AC units up there. We're we're planning to cover it in solar panels. And with solar panels, in the years, we'd love to take that entire plaza right off the grid entirely. And also add EV chargers. So we could draw from the thruway, we can draw from anybody in the city heading to the Finger Lakes, can stop in, charge the vehicles before they're headed to wherever their destination is. It makes a lot of sense to draw for the plaza, the people that would normally be coming to the plaza. Now that's a destination for some people. I'm not gonna say it's 200 people a day, but anything's better than nothing, you know, if they weren't coming down, if they weren't going to be stopping there anyway. Those EV chargers are going to help. It's only part of the future. So that's a second, I don't say second phase. I plan on doing this in conjunction, but it's not included in the IDA plan.
Stop at Ellie Mexican while you're over in
That's
that
right.
area. If you're talking about.
We actually were just about to get on the way here. So as soon as you looked up, we were like, oh,
Yeah.
we actually mentioned that we got to stop in there. So
We are working on this is really on the planning side of our office, but we're working on a countywide electric vehicle charging station location plan.
okay,
I'll keep your location in mind and we'll see if.
absolutely. We'll talk about that. I know Scott Allen said at the port, they were going to plan to put one out in front of the port as well, at least 1 or 2. I'd like to upgrade and go right to one of the fast chargers, which are.
That's really where all the, yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense, and that's the future. People don't want to sit there for 2 hours charging their car. They want to do it 15 minutes, and even if it
Not
costs.
quite 15 minutes, yeah, maybe a little longer.
You know,
Depends on where you are.
You know where I'm going, depending
Totally
on how far you have to
yes.
go, but.
Yes.
I just don't want to put slow chargers in there, and then that
Yeah.
isn't a draw. You know, the draw is these fast chargers, so
Mhm.
even if they cost a little money.
And just one other thing to note, so typically, the local municipality does a seeker for the project. This project did not need a seeker at the local level. So the IDA did undertake that as lead agency. It is an unlisted action, and we have gone through the process with Premier 60. And it is proposed that this action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts, mainly because it is a rehab of an existing building. So typically, this goes through the town or the village, depending on where it's located, but considering that was not a requirement of the town, no zoning change, no site plan changes, we did it in-house. And that is in your resolution as well, the information in there.
So I'm, make sure I'm following you. An environmental was done?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
We required as part of our process.
Yep.
Right,
We need to comply with seeker and there has to be an evaluation of the
Okay.
environmental tax for every project. The town didn't require it because they're not building a new building, so nothing triggered
Right.
seeker at the
but
town
we
level.
require it.
We require it, so we took the lead agency status and completed the process with these guys.
yes. And so that is included in this resolution. It's not typical.
Almost a negative
in our-
declaration.
Yeah, it's not typically in our resolution because again, it's usually through the local municipality. Yeah.
Any questions from you guys about this? Good?
It's good.
Great. Don, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good luck.
Thanks for waiting.
Yeah. We should be.
We can make a motion to approve.
Yeah, we're getting a motion to
So
approve. Thanks, Pam. Second. Thanks, Phil. All in favor?
Here, Bob, you gotta yell.
Oh,
Bob.
fine, Bob. Especially me.
All morning.
Sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Righty,
You're welcome to stick around.
good.
Follow up with you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you very patient.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
No IDA wine glasses.
Love stealing business from
Catalog back.
Monroe
Was it?
County.
Kidding, I'm kidding.
This is the thing to get, these Yetis and the screen printing out.
Wow, you can have wine glass, but no wine. You can put coffee in your wine glass. Well.
All right, there we go.
Number 4.
Your mug's there, too. Initial project resolution for K2 Brewing.
Yes,
Yeah.
so this initial project resolution is for 4320 Canandaigua Road LLC, K2 Brewing. This is initial resolution for a pilot project in the town of Walworth. And it would be for K2 Brewing to move to the old school, which is what's the name of this school?
Free will.
Free Will Elementary School in Walworth. It's over 70,000 square feet. And phase 1 would be to outfit the gyms into the brewing. And then the phase 2 would also be to improve the kitchen and the cafeteria for the tap room. The total project cost right now is $5.1 million. In your packet, I did provide the IDA project summary to give you initial information on it. Some of the information is not all available right now. Just as a sort of background, we are currently working with the town assessor on what the potential current assessment will be as a new zoned use as light industrial and what the potential future assessed value would be. Just a little bit of background, when it comes to elementary schools, the local assessors do not assess the schools. And this school has been vacant for, I think, over 5 years. I don't remember the exact amount of time, but it has been for quite some time. And so we are working with the assessor to determine what the current and future assessed value will be. So when you look at the project pilot summary with the estimated company incentive, we will provide an update to you at a later date once we've had that conversation with them. Just because right now it's assessed as a school, not as a light industrial building, which it was rezoned earlier this fall by the town of Walworth.
Just one quick point. So they're not abandoning their existing facility. They're growing into the school. So they've been quite constrained to your, we were just making a quick note that the job creation component is relevant. So they have been contracting brewing with another brewer because they don't have the capacity of their existing space. It's quite cramped. In fact, their canning line is sort of in the middle of the hallway. That they move in and out of their existing building as they need it. So anyway. They have phase 3 and phase 4 plans as well for that property. But to Katie's point, we're really trying to establish that base value, which is what we exempt everything above that base value. And at 5 million plus as a school, it just wasn't the appropriate level of
Right.
assessment, given it's a vacant industrial building. So a lot of moving parts on this one, and we're very actively talking with the town assessor about establishing that base value and then the improved value and what we're abating over the course of our pilot agreement.
Yes. So this is the initial project resolution, which will just, provide the application and the documentation to you guys. And then we will get further information and update it to you as well. Once we have talked to the assessor and go through our public hearing process.
So you're not looking for any type of an approval?
We do need the approval for the initial resolution, which is just stating that we've accepted their application and that it authorizes the staff to go to a public hearing and start working out some of these details. And in fact, the assessment is the major aspect that we need to sort of resolve before we even go to our public hearing.
Will they also be looking for funding?
They are looking for a loan. We do have an application with the Wayne Economic Development Corporation for a revolving loan fund. That application, we did just receive some updated information, so we're going to start reviewing it. Now we can, before it was still incomplete, but now we're able to review it. So we can hopefully also bring that to the next meeting in January.
The 504 deal I was referencing earlier.
Yes, yeah, so this is they have a 504 loan and they're working with Canandaigua, and then they've also applied for a WEDC revolving loan fund. Yes,
Brewery and school.
The town is
Not that I ever drank.
elated about
High
this
school,
project,
but-
by the way. They
Make
are.
me wanna go to the
gym.
Go back to school.
Workout.
The town is very supportive of this project, as you can imagine, but
Yeah,
Make a motion to move forward with it.
thanks, Phil.
Second,
Thanks, Pam. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Is this their word, gastro pub experience?
yeah, it is their, yes, it is their. Yes, and age appropriate. Yes,
We have
Means
resolution.
they keep the playground outside? Yeah.
don't play with hands.
Yeah. Don't take that away.
Particularly.
Did you go play over there?
so moved on the bylaw change?
Yes, thanks.
Second.
Thanks, Jay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now we need a resolution accepting the operating budget for the county IDA. It's moved. Thanks, Phil.
Second,
Thanks, Pam. All in favor? Opposed?
Well, we did bylaws, now we're on to this one.
Yeah.
He's moving it. Great.
Yes.
Keep going.
Second on the operating budget.
yes,
Correct. Jamie?
Yeah, okay,
Let's go,
you scroll down, Deb. I think it's just balances, which, as we can see in the audit and finance, there was a report done that shows all of the pilot checks that we received in from the pilot customers were all expensed out to the taxing jurisdictions. All of those checks have cleared our bank account now. So the 1.3 that came in, all the 1.3 has gone out. So our totals up there are pretty relative to where they are normally at.
Good.
I think that's all I got.
Yes. Good.
I'll be preparing an executive director's report for you guys in the coming. Hopefully, the plan is for January.
in writing, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, in writing. is what I meant.
Great.
Sorry. It will include a summary of accomplishments, but my goal, my plan, I will lay out our strategy in a little more detail so you guys can see in writing. All these threads are kind of gonna come together over the coming years, in particular on the industrial side and economic development side of business attraction stuff, but all things together so that you guys have an opportunity to see it in writing, vet it, and use it as a benchmark in evaluating our performance over the next several years.
I think I just to put a plug in, if you wanted to consider putting an executive director report in our meeting materials versus taking meeting time to talk about it, that might help with
If
efficiency.
you like it on a
of the meeting.
monthly basis, I could do that. Too. I'll be honest, they've been a little
You
stretched
could
for
just
time.
ask questions.
A lot of moving parts. I wear quite a few hats around here and larger initiatives that aren't sort of regular business going on, but I would be happy to, if that would be helpful. But this one will. Well, it'll be multiple pages and it's pretty detailed and. Again, giving you guys an opportunity not only to kind of see all of this come together, but. And not only that, the planning side of our office too, and I'm mindful, we talk about this at the staff level a lot, how. The planning work that we're doing feeds our economic development initiatives, not only economic development, by the way, the county, it's public health, housing, all the other things that are topics. All combined, the. Economic development, community development, it's all, planning plays a role in all this stuff and. I'm mindful that the work that we do on the planning side of our office is not only feeding up. The work that we're doing in economic development. But how it plays into other county departments and our overall goals of the county. So I will be preparing that report for January. And I'll do my very best to provide you guys a written summaries on a monthly basis.
Great, thank you.
Do you want to provide an update on the road in Ontario, the bay, or I guess,
Wish I had a really great update.
Yeah.
Well, there's two things. So out to the Ontario Business Park. Two things. One, I'm still. Patiently waiting for the town to get us an agreement so that we can get engineering done for the new access road to open up what is around. Somewhere between 90 and 100 acres of new industrial site development opportunities in the town. Had some good conversations with the OMID Railroad folks about rail-oriented development on the southwest corner of the business park, if you will, and opportunities relative to their marketing and promotion of sites. But we do need site access is a big part of all of that, right? So we need utilities and roads. There's a plan to get an access road to County Line Road on the west, right there next to Xerox. And then there are ongoing discussions, I'll say, about RTS service to that park. In particular for Optimax, who's continuing to grow. They have another 60,000 square foot expansion approved at the town level that I expect them to start to build sometime in the next year and a half, maybe 2 years. But as they continue to grow, and they made a reach out over the last month to myself and folks at the bus service about their need to expand their workforce reach into parts of the city of Rochester. So getting a line from downtown Rochester to that business park is an ongoing effort. Try to work through the town. Some of it does involve a survey. I think is a wise, because well, there's an expense to getting RTS to provide bus service there, which is kind of news to me. But they had suggested that they would charge a fee to Optimax or tenants of the business park. I don't want it all to fall on Optimax. I think other businesses in that park would benefit from that service. So getting everyone on board and surveying the 20 or so businesses in that industrial park, I think makes a lot of sense. And it's not going quite as quickly as I would like it to. I'm certainly not as quickly as Optimax would like it to. That's the plan.
So I just want to make sure I have the right takeaway here. The town of Ontario is being uncooperative.
I would not say uncooperative.
Is there anything that you think that might put? Is there anything you want them to do?
Yes,
Because I've asked you to comment on that particular project because of some phone calls. that
I would like, I mean, we've been talking about this for over a year. The IDA, 2 years ago, the IDA committed a fair amount of money to contributing to the cost of the engineering for the new access road. It was probably 2 years ago. I have not yet seen a proposal from an engineering firm. We're willing to sign on the dotted line and submit our cash. But we got to get that moving.
But the town's in charge of putting the RFP out for the engineering.
The town has decided to take the lead,
Okay,
correct?
okay.
And
Thank
I'm attempting to work through the town on this survey, which, I mean, they're a little closer to the business park and the businesses than we are. Which could help facilitate responses to would end up being probably a pretty brief survey. Would you use public transportation from the city? Would that benefit your workforce efforts? What shifts would be best served by access to bus service, and maybe one or two other questions? And that would all be food, information for RTS to determine when and at what frequency they would be running service. Again, I think it would be beneficial not only to Optimax, but there's this larger discussion about workforce, and as they continue to grow, they're at 400 and some odd employees over there now.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Just at Optimax.
Just to get out of there, that it's so clogged up.
So that's the other
Three
thing.
lights.
Right.
Increasingly concerned with the emergency services into that business park, and one road in and out, they get stacked up, not to mention it crosses a railroad line. So if there's a train coming through there, everyone's got to wait and can't park the car on the tracks, and I'm sure people do, as they get backed up, leaving at 5 p.m. And they've done what they can. They've staggered shifts within the park among the tenants over there, companies. It's a very condensed area, I'll say, for one access point to 20 plus businesses and tractor trailers coming out of there from Intergrove, which, by the way, we drove by the other day. Their new expansion project, again, you almost forget how
Huge.
impressive
Mhm.
those facilities
Yeah.
are.
And they had
Used
to,
to be
it
a
must be
driveway
double.
that went
what
into
the
the
first one was.
transmission and went back to AP Enterprise. And then they closed that off. Was there a reason for that?
Illegal farm crossing,
Oh,
unsignaled. Was never an official access point. It was an old farm crossing, right? You know, could just pull the truck off, and create a little dirt road, off you go. But with trains moving through there, like you just can't do that. Unsafe. Lots of other reasons. But there was a lot of somewhat negative attitude about the railroad in the town of Ontario in particular, relative to that. I think they're coming around on the idea that this is an asset that could help serve not only existing businesses there, but attraction efforts for companies that would benefit from rail service.
well, it's certainly assessed us as if it's a big benefit, so.
Mhm.
I think they get up and running.
Go get them, Julie.
Yes.
Well, I'll put, there's one other thing, and we could talk about this offline. There's an ongoing discussion about ownership of the railroad and the provision of tax benefits over the course of the last several decades. The county owns the rail line, right? It's the actual rail and the ties. East to west along 104, that the underlying land is owned by the utility company. There's an easement agreement. The land from Sodus down to Newark, where the rail connects to TSX, is owned by the county. Operators of the railroad, given that they're improving an asset owned by the county, have been claiming sales tax exemption and have not been paying any property taxes on the underlying land owned by the county. Well, that's not really the right way to do it. And there's likely a role for the IDA to play in continuing to provide those benefits to the operation of the railroad and it's a pretty tight business in and of itself. If you don't know, the railroad is privately owned, but it's owned like a shareholder owned company, right? So all the users of the rail line are shareholders of the Ontario Motor Railroad. The operation itself, and the ties over the course of the last several, let's say, decade, Jamie's parents have been really good about getting grants to help improve and replace. The ties themselves are original, or a lot of them are even today. And the rail line, the rail itself is original to when Conrail built that system a long time ago. There's a lot of, I think, necessary improvements to the rail line. But it generally operates sort of right at zero, it doesn't make money. It's not making a lot of money, if any. And for the most part, it operates in the red, but I think it's an asset. I think it deserves support from the county. In a lot of instances of class 3 railroads, IDAs own or play a strong role in that asset in their county. Ongoing discussions with myself and the county attorney and the treasurer's office and in turn supervisors on what's the right path and what we might put in place to provide benefits the right way. So ongoing discussions, but I tee that up as we likely approach something in the first quarter of next year relative to the IDA's role and what that might be. there are Christmas gifts.
Well,
Oh, you got one other thing?
Well, we're gonna,
Mhm.
sorry, you're
Yeah.
gonna have one more thing.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
I was gonna say, we have CFDC, but those of you that are not staying for CFDC.
Yeah, maybe we just close out the meeting and then.
Yeah. Okay.
I,
Favor?
I.
Here.